BP has sold the share in its South African businesses in a transformation deal. The company chairperson Thandi Orleyn joins us now in studio to explore more about this deal. We'll also be taking a look at the BP share price listed on the London Stock Exchange, which is quoted in pence. But thank you so much for joining us today, ma'am. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Maybe if you can unpack the transaction that took place, why these two BE firms that have been identified?
Okay, the deal itself has been in the making for some time. As you will know, we've had a relationship with MIC and WDB, which is over 10 years old.
MIC being the Mine Workers Investment Corporation.
Mine Workers Investment Corporation, and WDB, which is a broad-based company that is concentrating on women development. And in that process, we agreed as parties for mutually agreed decisions or agreements that they would exit. We went through the process and ended up with the partners that we have. The partners are a Capella consortium, which is, and I'm excited to say, it's made up of business partners as well as a broad-based company that is concentrating on people with disabilities. And those two make up the 20% plus one, and the 5% is made up of an education trust that we have set up based on our own transformation needs around education and the need of the country.
These two candidates, did you manage to identify them and maybe court them for an extended period of time?
As I said, the process has been long. For transparency, for the integrity of the process, we did open it up to a number of BE companies. They came through the process. Generally, people do feel uncomfortable about that kind of process, but as I say, it's necessary for good corporate governance as well as for integrity and transparency. So from that perspective, we have had long discussions, long engagements, looking at issues of compatibility, looking at issues of culture, as well as strategic alignment.
And why was this important to BP? Clearly it's not a matter of just ticking the boxes.
BP has been in South Africa for a long time, over 90 years. So we've got a long history. We believe post-1994, and our record shows that we would like to be part of the journey of transformation, journey of change in South Africa. And our other statistics show that, and I can share that with your listeners and your viewers. So from that perspective as BP, we had to, not because we want to tick the boxes, but because we want to be good corporate citizens and see the development of South Africa into the future.
Maybe speaking to the numbers that you said you were able to quote, are there figures perhaps that show the progress that BP's managed to make?
If I just start on employment equity, I mean, as a sizable and significant company in South Africa, we boast more than 58% black people, more than 40% women, and in our executive teams is similarly 57% women, more than 26%, rather more than 55% women at executive level. So we're quite proud of that. And on the skills development side, we've got a program with a Wits University where we've set aside 105 million rands over the next 6 years. And we've already spent 15 million of that in 2014. And the results show themselves in terms of the students who are coming through from our high school program to our graduate program and to the employment pool that we're having of people with a scientific and engineering background. That is just part. On the partnership ownership side, our two partners have, over the last 12 years, have derived a huge value in the program itself, which goes over 450 million rands. So it's been quite, for us, a successful partnership. We also, in 2005, set up Masana, one of the top black oil companies in the country, and we believe that since we set it up, it's grown more than threefold.
So your labor is bearing fruit. From a talent retention perspective, is BP managing to groom that internally and maintain the talent and innovation and the skills within the organization?
It's a journey. We're working through it. And as I say, the numbers reflect in terms of black people in the company. And these are knowledge-based people. and the number of people in executive positions as well as women. I know international and our sister companies in the other parts of the world are envious of the numbers that we show in South Africa.
Just to touch on the operating environment in SA, we do understand you are the chairperson, but maybe if you can give us insights as to some of the key things that might keep your team awake at night. It is a depressed growth environment. We do see the influence of the oil price and other commodities having an impact. Does that change anything inside BP?
As long as you don't ask me about detailed numbers, I'm happy to comment. You know, as you say, the environment is quite depressed. We see it in numbers, we see it in revised low-down GDP numbers, and we see it in the consumer index numbers. So it is for everybody. We thrive to continue to develop in this environment. Our value chain in South Africa starts from refinery right up to forecourts. So it's quite streamlined, and we try to bring efficiencies throughout the system.
And from a regulatory perspective, are things changing or inhibiting business performance?
Our environment is very regulated. It's regulated firstly because the country has got to secure, you know, provision of the oil and gas in the country. So from that perspective, we expected it, we expect it. We continue to have a good relationship with the Department of Energy. And in that way, we are able to anticipate any regulatory changes. We are able to work with the department's officials from the ministry to the officials to make sure that we can service the country in the best way we can.
Has that open relationship been fruitful?
Our relationships have been very fruitful. I've been with BP for the last almost 4 years. I've had 3 ministers, and I must say all 3 ministers have been very open to us. I have very good relationships with them. Even before we announced the deal, we had taken the present minister through it. She was very happy with it. So I'm confident when I say our relationship with government is in a good space.
And from an investment perspective, are your hands tied together perhaps when you try to go out and seek new opportunities? And I say this in a long about way, trying to allude to the MPRDA.
Right. Last year in 2013, we announced a 5 billion rand expansion program as BP, which includes South Africa and Mozambique. The bulk of it being in South Africa, more than 4.5 billion rands. Clearly, we have to navigate a lot of things. As you know, a Fuels 2 program has been stopped, and we're waiting to get results around that. It does give some constraints to us, but you know, you have to operate within the parameters that you have.
And the potential that's represented by these investments that you're willing to make, surely it means that there's a positive growth story on the other side.
That's why we try to engage with government so that they can, and as we've heard with the Minister of Finance, he's calling on the private corporates to be partners. We're here to be partners. They've got to make the environment conducive, and we are willing to participate.